At this point, it's safe to say that it has become a hate watch situation. Honestly, the way this started out, I was like, okay, let's give it a chance, because I didn't have anything to say about the karaoke episode. That was just so ridiculous. It wasn't even worth mentioning. It was a nothing sandwich. So here we are. I'm thinking, okay, their relationship is moving forward. Something is happening. You know, Wyatt wants to actually live with his mom, it turns out. And that makes Aiden really sad. He's starting to have guilt over that. Carrie's trying to have a relationship with this guy. She's trying so hard to actually have like a normal relationship with him where they go to dinner and they have fun, but it always goes back to the thing that's going on in Aiden's life, reasonably, which is his very troubled son who hates him. Nothing happens with them. All we see is that Aiden has an inkling of jealousy about Duncan, the downstairs neighbor, because now Carrie's got these regular writing sessions with him. He met him. He didn't have a lot of questions when he was standing in front of the man, but now you want to go behind her back and be asking her friends questions about him after you slept with your ex? Whatever. Okay. At least that was like a fraction of something. On to LTW. They continue with this Marion thing. She's into her producer. She's still having this flirtatious relationship with him. Okay, great. And she's starting to feel guilty about it because she knows, I guess, that it's more than just flirtation. But we're talking about LTW now. She lives a life that there's nothing wrong with Herbert. He's a little bit, well, he's a Herbert. But he's not a bad husband to her. So it would be really stupid for them to make us watch her screw this up. One of the only decent conversations in all of this show between two grown women when she's walking down the street talking to Charlotte, she has a conversation about how she had a dream about Marion and she feels guilty about it. And Charlotte gives her what feels like good, friendly, grown woman advice, which is, I mean, it was a dream. Why do you have to feel guilty about that? Nothing actually happened. But it goes on to a point that gets a little ridiculous where she's just like hot and bothered around him. Like, it starts to give weird vibes because it doesn't feel reciprocated by Marion. Charlotte, I thought they were actually going to give her a storyline, that they were going to help us with this Harry thing. He's had his surgery and he's recuperating at home and they make all their jokes about that. And then it takes the weirdest turn with her at the gallery doing a display that involves sex and nudity, okay. But then she gets vertigo and it's the weirdest thing because where did that come from? I had never known Charlotte, the character, to ever have vertigo in the series. What are we doing? Anyway, doesn't lead to anything, but there it is. Charlotte has vertigo. Miranda continues to be a befuddling weirdo. You have a girlfriend for all of 25 minutes, and now you're basing your entire personality around her and her preferences. So remember like 2 episodes ago when she was apartment shopping with Seema? She was not considering an apartment because it was not dog friendly, and Miranda's not even a flippin' dog owner, just her is she my girlfriend? I guess yes, she's my girlfriend person is. And it's okay to be serious about someone early on. It's not that. It's just be serious about them, but don't change your life for them. So once again, we're confronted with Miranda, who, if you remember from the movies, became sober due to some terrible drinking that started. In this episode, she attributes now the drinking to the fact that she was in a marriage where she wasn't happy and she was questioning her sexuality. Valid. Okay, cool. They never did that before, but I like it. So then because her girlfriend of a few weeks comes back from a trip with some gin, all of a sudden, Miranda wants to start considering drinking again. Like maybe I didn't have a problem with alcohol. Maybe actually the problem was just I was unhappy. And I know that that is a realistic thing that people who struggle with addiction do. And they kind of put their foot back in the pond. Like maybe I can get back into the drinking and everything. But the way they have her explore it is very strange. And all of her friends, you know, it gives them pause. They use this subject to create a gag with Charlotte, with the vertigo. The subject was good. Okay, let's have a whole episode where we explore that. Or maybe half an episode where we explore that. And when the girlfriends rally around Miranda and figure out how to help her understand. And where's her sober buddy or someone who's supposed to be helping her in her sobriety journey? Because none of them have struggled with addiction. So they're not exactly the right people to go to. So I just wish that we had bothered to take some time to go down that road because it was actually slightly interesting. And we just turn it into some weird little scene with she's in her apartment alone and she ends up throwing the gin away because she wanted it so badly. I guess that's the end of that. Miranda survived her test and she's no longer challenged by alcohol. Who knows where they're going to take this or if they're going to take it anywhere. There's a continued side story with Anthony and his boyfriend's mom, Giuseppe's mom, who's come to town and she hates him. The reason she doesn't like him is because he's much older than her son. And as a mom, I get it. So, what are we doing with Seema? What a ridiculous storyline. She had so much promise because she was supposed to be the Kim Cattrall replacement, remember? Or have the writers forgotten that? So immediately they put her in a situation with this landscape architect. He's not a very interesting character to me. I don't know if it's not that I don't think he's handsome or whatever, but he's very one-dimensional. Not all the men were developed in the original series, and it still was interesting, but Seema is not, we're not finished developing her. Last we checked in, she's broke after being like one of the top real estate selling agents in New York City, selling properties worth millions and millions of dollars, and she was a partner in her firm, and she's broken and struggling to start her business. And then we just leave that alone, and we go for a gag about deodorant. Very puzzling choices they're making with these characters. I don't know where this relationship with this landscape architect is supposed to go, but it seems right off the bat that they're very incompatible, except they have this inexplicable chemistry. I don't see the chemistry between them. The two characters do not seem like a good fit for each other. And I'm not just talking about like age. It's just where's the real chemistry? There's no magnetism between them. So they end the episode with Carrie at her desk continuing to write her story, which last episode Duncan told her was magnificent. And then that's it. Credits roll. And I was like, that's it? Like, that's all that's going to happen this episode? It's really crazy to me. We just spent an hour watching women on television do absolutely nothing of importance. Develop nothing in terms of storyline. We kind of left these women at the end of this episode exactly where we found them at the beginning. That's what's frustrating. There's no resolution. There's no those women sitting together helping each other solve their problems and get through their difficult times. That was the magic of the original series, with the glitz and the glam and the New York City of it all. It was the relationship. Where are the relationship? They're not allowed to have any real conversation. In fact, Miranda actually tried to talk to Carrie about the chemistry she saw between her and Duncan, and Carrie just responds by biting her head off. Like, okay, then enjoy your non-existent relationship that you're in right now. But one of your best friends is telling you she's observing that you are happy, i.e. saying that means she hasn't seen you happy like that in a long time. I think that's something in your 50s that you should probably pay attention to. But Carrie is so devoted to this nothing burger of a relationship that she's in that, yeah, there's no room for anyone to even mention that to her. Maybe I'm just too much of a pragmatist for this, but if Carrie was my friend, she wouldn't actually be able to talk to me about Aiden, because I would have been told her, this is a nothing relationship. It's going nowhere. He's not in a position to have a relationship. And as soon as you realize that, holler at me. I had hope after at least the first 3 terrible episodes that eventually this series would shape up into something, and that we would have something to follow and something to show for the hours we're going to spend watching. But it doesn't appear that that's the case. It appears we are going to chase our tails. It appears we are going to have these 50-something, sophisticated, educated, rich women have no growth whatsoever in the last 20 years. So, and just like that, it became a hate watch. I'm going to have to see this through because I'm not a quitter, but I don't think they're going to be able to do anything to convince me moving forward that this show is not terrible. Just absolutely terrible. It's as if the creators want to make sure it gets canceled now, because they're not even trying. It's like they saw a winning formula and they were like, yeah, instead of doing what has worked extremely well for us in the past, let's try something totally ridiculous that doesn't even make sense. If they are able to make something out of this, I would be very surprised, but I'm certainly not going to hold my breath. So for now, I'm hate watching. I'll still keep you posted.